And welcome to another edition of the Big Knick Energy Podcast. We have our second ever former NBA player. The first one was Jared Jeffries way back in March of 2021. We now have Chris Copeland on the Knicks for 2012-2013 season, played with the Pacers 2 years and ended with the Bucks. Chris, you were an awesome person to watch your rookie year, being a 28-year-old with a 35-year-old co-rookie in Pablo Prigioni. I loved your path and story, man. Like, I wanted just to start off and get going where we're going. What was your path like from the University of Colorado to making the NBA? Like, what was that 6 years in between like for you?
You just keeping the dream in front of you. Definitely got dark. It was frustrating. There was some times where I felt like it wasn't going to happen for me. But I was very fortunate. I had some great teammates that helped me grow as a player, and I had some incredible coaching. And because of that combination, those years overseas, I continued to grow, get better, and I got put in some positions to be seen. And next thing you know, I was at the Garden. So it was a lot of work, but it was fun.
I love that, man. For your path to actually getting to the NBA, a lot of guys, when they are 22, 23 and they don't get drafted, they might stay overseas for years and years. You actually made it through, which is awesome. And you have a Belgium League MVP to your name, which is also something most people can't say. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it was great to actually be able to say I won MVP of a league in Europe. That was awesome. That was a big time goal for me. I always said, actually, to my coach, Eves, it was like a whole plan. We had it plotted out. And I was like, because I always wanted to make it to the NBA. And I was like, how am I going to get noticed? And I'm like, only way they're going to really see me is if they know I'm clearly the best player in the country. Right. And, that season where I finally got my MVP was when I first got my opportunity to go with the Knicks. So it worked out.
And then you were in Knicks Summer League, and there you go. You made the roster. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, because you were a 28-year-old rookie and Pablo was a 35-year-old rookie in the same season. Did you guys have to go through rookie hazing that they make the 20-year-olds do, or were you both able to skirt that a little bit?
I did. Pablo, I'll be real. Pablo was a gangster about his. He did probably a couple of things, but Pablo was like, man, I'm 30. Oh, how old was he at the time? 30 something. He was like, I'm not, I think he was like 35. I don't want to over exaggerate, but I think he was actually 35. He was like, bro, I am not a rookie. So he actually tried to tell me, because I was older too. He was like, we don't have to do this, bro. You played professional for years, and I was honestly honored to go through the process. You see Shaq with the Mickey Mouse hat and so many others. Like, it was kind of like, that rite of passage to say I really did. I carried the bags, went through all the things that other rookies went through. I was honored to do it, to be honest with you.
I mean, you fight and claw for so long after high school to go through college and the other years overseas. I mean, it makes total sense that it's like you said, a rite of passage that we all wish we could even go through one day. That's fantastic.
Right.
To go through the 4 or 6 years that you were overseas, just one thing real quick. What aspects of your game do you feel you improved the most between college and that time that actually made you NBA ready?
A few different things, but I'll sum it up as learning to eat what I kill. Right. And, it's a mentality thing. I tell guys, I don't know if you guys remember this name, but shout out to Ndudi Ebe. And he played for the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was a high school draft pick. And he was getting dropped down to it was the D League at the time. That's how old I am. And so he got dropped down. He's my roommate. I had a really good one game in the D League, and he was like, yeah, this is pretty good. These are NBA numbers. He said, but you don't know how to eat what you kill yet. And I didn't understand that till I got overseas. Understand, playing for Yves Dufresne, I would have a game where I had 27, 7 and 7 or something like that, and we won the game. I'm like, I'm cool. And then Yves is dissecting me. He's like, bro, you didn't dominate. I'm like, I had 27, 7 and 7. We won the game, coach. He's like, yeah, but the other guy had 17. Like, you're not imposing your will. You're not doing enough to dominate the game. And if you really have these goals, you have to do that. So the biggest thing for me, again, was learning to eat what I kill. I had to go over there against professionals, learn how to really dominate and take scalps. And it's a different mentality. It's the same when you're working out. I tell guys when they say, well, how many shots should I shoot? What's it? And the answer is more. You got to know what you're up against. You're trying to compete against the best in the world to get a position. And so that mentality was the thing I had to learn. Long story short.
That's awesome. Eat what you kill is a great thing for a lot of people to actually take and bring home with them. It's a great way to actually make you fight harder and get through farther in life and with your careers and stuff. Always see the person in front of you. And competition's always key, to my opinion, to success. I did sales for years. So you see the guy in front of you, you want to learn from them and then be better than them all the time.
Absolutely. It's respectful competition. We wish no ill on anybody, but you want to be the best, and it's pushing yourself to be the best that you can be. And I'm thankful for all those people that helped my mentality along the way.
Absolutely. That's also a great segue. So regarding mentality, you got to start in one playoff game, and you played in 21 playoff games between the 2012-2013 season with the Knicks and the next season with the Pacers. As someone from the outside, we don't get to see this a lot. We all like coaching in a more hyperbolic standpoint. If you're like, we're just podcasters or whatever, you as someone that actually played in the league, can you give a foresight of what the difference is between preparing for the grind that is the marathon of the regular season versus preparing for the high pressure intensity of a playoff series?
Everybody knows each other. And it's one thing to play a game and you got, back to back, and then you got another two, you'll skip a day and you flying, and there's so many games. They're important for your seeding, which is obviously gives you the best advantages going into the playoffs. But the games aren't as important. Let's just be honest. Now everything matters. The attention to detail, because everybody can play. Again, these are the best players in the world. So you can't just make a guy shoot. You got to know that he shoots 30% from this corner, and then the details that people don't know. It's a lot more detailed in the playoffs, because that's the difference between winning and losing. Those teams that master that are the ones that have the most success in the postseason.
Speaking of preparing for a game, your career high came with 33 points. It was the last game of the regular season of your rookie year against the Hawks, but both the Knicks and the Hawks were preparing for the postseason. So when you're going up against guys that are like not necessarily in a rotation, was that the real moment you were like, I'm going to cook my food and eat it? Like, was that your real opportunity you felt in an NBA game?
It was one of them. It was one of them. Honestly, the first one was, so I forget all the circumstances, but like, I remember it was, for me, it was like every game, my rookie year especially, was like, all right, can I really do this? I always felt confident that I had the ability, but like, people can say, oh, I could have did this or I could have did that. But like, for me, I always wanted to prove to myself that I belonged. And so those moments, where I had, guys went down, or guys were, getting ready, rested for the playoffs, or, so my favorite actually moment is there was an issue with one of our top players and the coach, and he didn't play in the second half, long story short. And I think Melo was out. And I felt like, okay. And so I had a half, and I had 29. I had literally 0 in the first half. And then I wasn't really playing, but the second half, it was like kind of my show.
Yep.
And it was early in the year, and I had literally 29 and a half. And to me, that was more than the 33s or the other games that I had from a scoring perspective, because that was the game where I felt like I proved it to myself that I could compete. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can actually play. Like, oh, I can do this. Like, this ain't bad.
Can I actually ask you about one of the players that did not play in the game you got 33 points in? One of the guys that was part of the postseason rotation, obviously.
Yeah. Ask me anything.
So
I can't answer everything, but you can ask me anything.
That's fair. I respect that. I'm not the FBI, man. If you want to say no, you can say no.
Yeah.
So J.R. Smith, who is one of the more entertaining NBA players people have watched in the past like 15 years, whether it's about the actual NBA play itself or I don't want to say the antics, but like the fun he had within the game or off the court. He got suspended the year after you left the Knicks when you were on the Pacers for the untying of shoelaces. Can you talk about, because he started doing that when you were on the team, right? Can you give a little foresight about that for me?
I honestly, I never, because it was so harmless to me, I never like really had an in-depth conversation with him about it or anything like that. But to me, it was just JR. Like, if you know JR, one of the coolest cats in the world. He's a fun-loving guy. He laughs, and I think he probably just, I don't think it was that deep. He untied somebody's shoelace. It's some goofy. We're playing a game of basketball. It's the game of basketball. And it's very serious, make no mistake, but still the game of basketball. So I always thought it was just goofy.
What was the funniest or goofiest thing he or anyone else did on your team that you saw while you were either on the Knicks or the Pacers?
Probably me with the backpack. Me with the princess, what is it? The Disney princess's backpack was probably. I mean, let's be honest, it didn't get much funnier or silly than that.
That's right.
Just
You had
all of,
Ariel and Bella on a book
yeah, I
bag.
had
I
all
forgot.
of them. Yeah, I had all. I don't even know all the names, but yeah, I had all of them on that backpack. I was proud of that backpack. That thing carried a lot of waters to a lot of vets. So yeah, so that was probably the silliest thing, and all of the hazing stuff they had me in the onesies and stuff. So that's as silly as it gets. So that's how it's supposed to be. As a rookie, you're supposed to go through some goofy, some silly stuff.
Except for Pablo.
Pablo's the gangster, man. I it's the Godfather.
I love it. I have to ask you a question that every single person that would have ever played on the Knicks or Pacers has probably been asked at some point in their life. Who was the better player, New York Knicks Carmelo Anthony or Indiana Pacers Paul George?
Wow, of all the podcasts, have I ever gotten that question?
You've never gotten that question?
I don't think I've ever gotten that. People always usually ask me my favorite top five or something like that. But them against each other, it's tough because I mean, Melo's a better scorer.
Right.
Paul's a better defender. It's tough. I can't call it because Melo was that good and Paul was that good. So I really can't call it. I would call it a draw.
I respect that. You were both their teammates, so I totally respect that answer.
Yeah.
This is a Knicks podcast. I'm going to say Melo, but you didn't say that, so it's okay.
That's fair. That's fair. That's not a bad pick. You won't go wrong with either one.
Awesome. I appreciate that.
There's been some talks of Paul going to New York, so
yeah.
I heard that. I don't know if you guys heard that, but that would be dope.
We actually one of the guys we do Big Knick Energy with, Brad, the one that actually shouted you out for the video when we did the podcast last week. He made a large video about why he wants Paul George on the team because Paul George is one of his favorite players, and he got roasted for it because he was willing to trade RJ Barrett. So that's never a good thing in Knicks fandom folklore right now. You can't trade RJ.
I mean, no disrespect to RJ, but I think Paul George is the better player. I think RJ is a hell of a talent, young talent. I think his future is very, very bright. And I don't get caught up in trade him and who's better. I don't really like to do that, but I tell you, you guys got Jalen Brunson right now. I look at, you make a couple pieces and you can make some serious noise, and Paul George could be a great, great addition. That's all I would say.
If the team stayed as is going into this year, what do you think the Knicks are capable of with this current roster?
I think it's going to be very similar. I think they're highly competitive. I don't think they're a championship team, but I think they're highly competitive, very talented, fun to watch. Going to be in every game. But I don't see them. I don't think they got better than Boston. I don't think they're better than Milwaukee. I don't think they're better than Philly on paper right now. That's just me being brutally honest. But I do think they're fun, and whenever they're playing, if they're not playing one of the homies I'm still cool with, then I'm cheering for the Knicks, of course.
Chris, I love hearing that, man. You just warm me in my heart. Also, I agree with you about the 4 teams that are better than them. So I have a couple more questions for you. Thank you again for your time. It's really much appreciated. One, you didn't play in this game, and I forgot if it's because you were hurt during the Boston series or I don't know what happened. The all black funeral game. Can I ask, whose idea was it to wear all black? How bad did it look in the fourth quarter?
I don't remember who started it, but yeah, I wore all black for sure. We all did, and that was a mistake. But we got it right. We got it right soon thereafter. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I mean, you won in 6, winning in 5 or winning in 6, still won the series. But I remember the New York Post the next day. It was not very kind.
Yeah. We got too cocky. I think that's honestly one of the biggest reasons why we didn't go as far as we did. Was because we had some lapses sometimes mentally, and we weren't consistent mentally, and we took teams for granted that we should have stomped out. But it is what it is. It was fun.
Professional sports, man. So it happens to everyone. I mean, everyone gets paid for a reason. You never know.
Yeah, and it's that type of competition. You're correct. And it's so mental. That's why the ones that win championships consistently and the ones that dominate consistently are to be respected, because it takes a lot to stay locked in and to eat what you kill that consistently.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I wanted to ask for your top 3 of not overall player, but your 3 favorite teammates. If you could pick one from your time at New York, one from Indiana, and one from Milwaukee, who is your favorite teammate on each team?
Oh, this is tough, man. because I'm still cool with so many of them. Shump has been my favorite teammate in the league. I got a list though, bro. I don't want to, I'm really cool with a lot of these guys. But I don't want to. Shump was, I'll say, is my favorite guy from the league. But I have a ton of guys from Solomon, Sloan, West, D West. We talk every day, text mostly. But I have a bunch of friends, that I play with. It's a long list, and I don't want to start because then I'm like,
I don't want to put you on the spot and get texted afterwards.
All my guys, they know who they are. You know what I'm saying? But those are the names that you guys know off top.
Word up. I respect that. And then what have you been up to for the past few years since you've been out of the league? It was what, 2017, 2018?
You said what I've been up to as of late?
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot. So my biggest focus, which is really kind of cool if you guys stay tuned, I've been working with Boost Mobile. So one of the things that, I've been really excited about is our community activity and going back and helping people that need it. And for me, I was always, always wanted an opportunity and people to come help me get into positions where I could be in a better position, I should say. So with Boost, Boost is going, I have coined the phrase Boost the Block. And with Boost Mobile, we're going to go back to the community and help people in different ways, whether it be food drives, whether it be back to school and things of that nature. So that's, I'm a part of that community give back. And that's something I'm most excited about. I'm working with a lot of projects on the business front, but, this is the thing that I want. If you ever see Boost the Block, if you see it in New York, you see it, we're going to be all over the country. So if you see it anywhere in the area, please pull up and show support, help us out.
Absolutely, man. Everyone that's listening, you heard them. Make sure if you find Boost the Block, you pull up and actually meet Chris Copeland, but two, definitely give away to your community. Giving out and giving away to your friends and family and the people around your neighborhood is always near and dear to everyone's hearts. So absolutely. Chris, yeah. Thank you so much for your time, man. Much appreciated. Again, make sure to look up what Chris is doing. Find him on all social media, obviously. You can't DM him though. I'm sorry to let everyone know. And then Chris, I know you said you're about to have your first child, right? You said that before we started recording.
Absolutely.
When's the due date and what are you most scared for?
Well, the due date is September 11th, believe it or not.
My mom's birthday.
How about that? Awesome. Salute to moms. So that's the due date. We'll see when he actually comes. What am I most scared for? Just the unknown, really. Whatever I can't see coming, we can make plans, but I know God laughs at our plans. So for me, it's we're planning and trying to make sure, we have all the basics down packed. But when he gets here, I know it's going to be a whole lot of figuring out to do. So that's, if I had a biggest fear, it would be the unknown and what I can't see coming.
The answer of every soon-to-be parent. The unknown is always the biggest fear of all.
Yeah.
Chris, we're going to be all right, Chris. We're going to be all right, Chris.
Then you're so loud.
You got tips. Go ahead and let me know. You already know.
Absolutely. Chris, thank you so much for your time, man. I hope we can reach out to you at some point during the season, maybe do a checkup on how the Knicks and you are doing.
Absolutely, man. We can do it.
Appreciate it. Let's go, Knicks.
All right, guys.